When Isaac was almost 40 years old, his mother Sarah died, and he was very sad. After Sarah died, Abraham realized that Isaac should be married. It was really important that he did not marry one of the women from Canaan, the area in which they lived, because the Canaanites worshipped idols and not the Lord God. So Abraham called his old and trusted steward, who looked after all his property, and told him to go to Haran, where his brother Nahor had settled, and find a wife for Isaac from his family there. As was a custom in those times, the steward was asked to put his hand under Abraham's thigh to swear that he was do as Abraham asked, which he did. So the steward got 10 of Abraham's camels and loaded them up with supplies for the journey, and also presents to give to Isaac's future wife and her family. This shows what a wealthy man Abraham had become. The journey to Haran was a long one. Eventually they arrived and stopped outside the walls of the city where there was a well. The steward made the camels kneel down so they would not wander away. In those days, people did not have taps and running water in their homes, so they had to get water from a well. It was early evening, and the time when the women and girls from the city were coming to the well to fill containers with water. The steward prayed quietly to himself for a sign as to which girl would be the right one. He thought that if the girl he asked to give him a drink of water also offered to get water for his camels, then she would be the one. Just then a young woman named Rebecca came to take water from the well. The steward asked her for a drink, and she immediately gave him some water, and then said she would get some for his camels. He was overjoyed and gave thanks that his quest seemed to have been successful so soon. He gave her a gold nose ring and 2 gold bracelets. He then asked her whose daughter she was, and if there was room in her house for him to stay. She told him she was the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Nahor, Abraham's brother, and that there was room in their house for him to stay and plenty of straw for the camels. The steward bowed his head and gave thanks to the Lord that he had been led straight to Abraham's relations. Rebecca ran and told her family what had happened. Her brother Laban came out and invited the steward into the house and arranged for straw for the camels and food for the steward and the men with him. However, the steward would not eat until he had told them why he was there. So he explained that he had come from Abraham and how the Lord had blessed Abraham with much wealth and flocks and servants. He told how Sarah had given birth to a son in her old age, whose name was Isaac, and that Abraham had told him not to let Isaac marry a woman from Canaan, but that he was to go to Haran to find a wife for Isaac from his own family. He also told them of the prayer he had said to the Lord to help him know who was the right young woman among all those coming to fetch water, and that Rebekah had answered that prayer completely. Laban and Bethuel both agreed that it was the will of the Lord that Rebekah should go with the steward and become Isaac's wife. The steward then brought out silver and gold jewelry and clothing for Rebekah, and gave precious things to her brother and mother. And then they ate and drank through the evening. The next morning the steward wished to leave straight away for the journey back home to Hebron, but Rebekah's brother and mother wanted him to wait 10 days. The steward did not want to wait, so they called Rebekah and asked her if she was willing to go straight away. She said, "I will go." So she and her maid rode on the camels and followed the steward. Now Isaac went out to walk in the fields in the evening, and he saw a train of camels coming. Rebekah saw Isaac in the distance and asked the steward who he was. The steward said it was Isaac. So Rebekah got down from the camel and took a veil and covered herself. That was a tradition of the time, that the bride's face should not be seen before the marriage. The steward told Isaac all that had happened, and Isaac took Rebekah to Sarah's tent. They were married, and Isaac loved Rebekah and was comforted after his mother's death.